Hello everyone, welcome to my Part 2 DVD collection update for the month of October of the year of 2012. Make sure you guys watch Part 1 beforehand if you want to watch them in chronological order, but in the end it really doesn't matter, does it? Anyways, let's go ahead and get started with Part 2, shall we? Next up, I'm still talking about my DVDs now. I've also picked up some VHS tapes and some books and even some comics, and a few games. But anyways, still talking about DVDs. So first up we have a film directed by the man Robert Rodriguez, and that is called Machete. Or Machete, as they pronounce in the movie. Inside joke if you've seen the movie. Anyways, starring all kinds of people. You got Danny Trejo, Steven Seagal, Michelle Rodriguez, Jessica Alba, Robert De Niro. There's all kinds of people that are in this movie. Anyways, it's kind of a grindhouse movie. It knows that it's over the top. It knows that it's ridiculous, but it relishes in that sense of era. And this is a great film. I really enjoyed Machete. It's just a great, over-the-top film. It's not my favorite. It's not my favorite From Dusk Till Dawn. It's not my favorite Rodriguez film. I think my favorite Rodriguez film would have to be From Dusk Till Dawn. But I did really enjoy Machete. 10 out of 10. Great movie. Like I said, my favorite is From Dusk Till Dawn. This is probably my second favorite, I'd have to say, probably. But I don't know. I think Planet Terror is probably my second favorite, and then Machete. But Machete's really cool nonetheless. This is another movie that I have not seen, so I can't comment on too much, and it's called Serenity. If you don't know what Serenity is, it's actually the end. It's a movie, but it's the ending to a Joss Whedon series by the name of Firefly. It has a big cult following, I know, on the internet, just a big cult following in general, and I don't really. I know it's kind of a science fiction series. I don't really know what to expect besides that it's kind of like Battlestar Galactica or Star Trek or Stargate, that kind of thing. But of course, better effects and everything. I know Firefly is on Netflix. I'm gonna watch Firefly, and I'm sure I'll like it. I'll watch this, and I might put up a review letting you guys know what I think. Anyways, Serenity. This next one I have not seen, so once again I can't comment on too much, and that is Planet of the Apes, starring Charles Heston and Roddy McDowall. This is the original Planet of the Apes. As you see there. This is the collector's edition, full screen. I want to open it up so you guys can kind of see what, it says, somewhere in the universe there must be something better than man. As you can see there. Really cool. This is really cheap online, so if you guys want to pick it up, it's very cheap online. 2-disc edition, really cool stuff here. Anyways, it's the original, the 70s version, Planet of the Apes. Next up is Malevolence, and this is kind of a cool, really cool. It was I believe it was made in 2004, but it was actually. But the thing about Malevolence is that it actually feels like an 80s film. Sorry, I have things going on in the background kind of distracting me. Anyways, back to the collection update. Like I say, Malevolence still is like an 80s film. It kind of has the classic. It has some homage to films like Halloween and Friday the 13th, and has some homage to some good old classic horror films. And Malevolence is kind of a cool film that's been made in the past 10 years, but it feels like an 80s film. So Malevolence is a really cool one that you guys should check out. There's actually a prequel to Malevolence, and I believe it's called Bereavement. I haven't seen it, but it should be pretty cool. And that one was just made 2 years ago, actually. Excuse me. This next one was a blind buy, and what I mean by that is I literally blindly bought it, and I have no idea what to expect. And that is a film by the name of Ashes. I believe what happens is a brilliant doctor, by the back of it says a brilliant doctor has a cure for AIDS, and I guess he ends up using this cure on some people, and I guess it has side effects. I don't know if it turns them into zombies or I don't know what it does to them, but for some reason his cure for AIDS ends up going drastically wrong on the people he experiments and tests it on. So anyways, that's the film called Ashes. Next is a movie directed by Marcus Dunstan, and that is by the name, he's the guy who wrote Saws 4, 5, 6, and 7, I believe. I think he wrote 7. Anyways, he wrote Saws 4, 5, and 6. I know that for sure. He also did Feast and Piranha 3 Double D, and just he's done all kinds of stuff. Anyways, he can really write films, and this is a film he directed. And a sequel to this called The Collection actually comes out Black Friday, November 30th of 2012 this year. So if you like The Collector, stay tuned for that. It's kind of a cool, another masked. You don't see a lot of masked villains nowadays, so it kind of has that whole feel of it. I know the sequel from the trailer looks kind of like a Saw movie, so that's kind of cool. Anyways, that's The Collector. Next up is a Lake Placid starring Bill Pullman, Bridget Fonda, Oliver Platt, and of course, the famous Betty White is also in this movie. She's in all of them. They actually just recently on Sci-Fi Channel premiered Lake Placid 4, The Final Chapter, and Robert Englund, who plays, of course, Freddy Krueger in all the Freddy ones except for the remake. He was in Lake Placid 4, The Final Chapter, so it's kind of cool. Anyways, Montreal says a real nail biter. Of course, this movie's not meant to be taken seriously. There are some, there's some cool kind of practical effects in there. The crocodile, of course. It's kind of CGI at times, but overall, Lake Placid I thought was a really funny kind of horror comedy, more of a comedy. But I think overall, Lake Placid is a pretty cool. I think it's a pretty good movie. Just kind of a fun movie that you can kind of just sit back and have fun with, and not try to take the movie too seriously. Sometimes when you try to do that, you devalue some of the film, actually, is when you do that. This next one is a movie with Johnny Depp and Heather Graham, and that is called From Hell. And the only reason I really got this because I know it involves Jack the Ripper and Johnny Depp. And that's pretty much the only reason I got it. Haven't seen it, so I don't really know too much about it. Anyways, it's called From Hell. This next one brings back some nostalgia when I talk about it because the TV series on Nickelodeon actually came from it, and I haven't seen it for a long time. And that is a movie called Jimmy Neutron, a Boy Genius, the movie. It says Jimmy Neutron is clever and funny, is what Chicago Tribune says. Anyways, it comes with loads of special features, and I'm sure you guys all know Jimmy Neutron. I haven't seen this in a long time, so I can't wait to watch it so I can bring back some nostalgia. Main reason I bought it, pretty much. Next up is the unrated version of Wrong Turn 3, Left for Dead. I have not seen this. I have seen 1 and 2, and most people actually prefer the first one over all of the other ones, but in all reality, I thought the first one was kind of mediocre, actually, and I actually prefer the second Wrong Turn, which is called Dead End. I actually prefer Wrong Turn 2, is my favorite of what I've seen so far. I haven't seen 3, I haven't seen 4. I know Doug Bradley, who stars Pinhead, is going to be in new Wrong Turn 5 coming out real soon called Bloodlines. And if you guys are curious, Wrong Turn 5 is actually a sequel to the prequel of Bloody Beginnings. So, it's a prequel to the entire series still, but it's a sequel to 4. So if you can get past all that, confusingness. Anyways, Wrong Turn 3. Next up is Elizabeth Olsen starring in the movie A Silent House. And the reason this cover looks so generic and just looks like I made it is because I bought it from Family Video. And as you can see, I don't know if you can read that little tiny font, but anyways, right there it says repackaged by Family Video. And that's why the cover looks so cheaply made, is because they repackaged it. Because I guess they didn't have another case. Anyways, that's Silent House. This is a really cool movie. Got very mixed reviews online, somewhere in the 50% on RottenTomatoes.com. I really enjoyed A Silent House. I thought it was a really cool movie. Some very effective scares, and a really cool twist ending to go with. So, definitely worth a watch. I just recently talked about the original Planet of the Apes, where here is the remake, not the one starring Matt Damon that Tim Burton directed, but the superior remake in my opinion. I haven't seen the one that Tim Burton did, but I have no interest in seeing it. And this is a Rise of the Planet of the Apes, and this one stars James Franco, Andy Serkis. Andy Serkis is the one who plays Caesar, and he's the one who does all the the movement for the monkey or the ape. Anyways, really cool movie, lots of action, lots of story, cool concept, really cool stuff. I really liked this movie. Next is another horror film by the name of Teresa's. This is the unrated version Maximum calls it a shocking and genuinely terrifying trip. This is a really cool movie. I really like the concept of it. It's kind of just one of those good old, I believe it came out in 2006, it looks like. And it just, one of those movies that's been made in the past 10 years that was done right. It's one of those recent horror films that doesn't suck, but it's actually quite good, I thought. And Teresa's is a really cool one with a cool story. This next one I haven't seen. And, this is the unrated version of Lake Placid 3, as you can see. And my plan was to buy all the Lake Placid movies, Lake Placid 1, 2, and 3, and then I was going to watch 4 that came on, I believe it came on September 28th, but I actually never got around to watching the final chapter of Lake Placid 4. And the only reason I was going to watch it was Robert Englund was in it, and I was going to buy all 3 of them and then watch the 4th one on TV, but I never got around to doing it, because I never bought Lake Placid 2. But I did watch the first one. Anyways, like I said, I haven't seen this, so I don't really know what to expect. I'm expecting more campiness, more ridiculousness, more over-the-topness, more horror comedy, more of the same thing, just done in a more ridiculous fashion. Anyways, that's Lake Placid 3. This next one is one of my favorite Adam Sandler movies, and that is by the name of Click. It stars Adam Sandler, Kate Beckinsale, and then Christopher Walken is also in this. And it's just a really cool, very, sad, just one of those great Adam Sandler's movie, and it's probably his last film that was actually decent. Now he's been in Grown Ups, and what else has he been? Hotel Transylvania was actually quite good. Like I said, he was in Grown Ups, he was in Jack and Jill, he was in Bedtime Stories. Recently, he hasn't been in too much, but this is his last thing that I believe that was genuinely a great film. Hotel Transylvania, I guess, it was kind of for me at least, I guess it kind of reamped him up because. I've always liked Adam Sandler. He was in, 50 First Dates, is one of my other ones that I like a lot. But, Click is probably my favorite thing that he's in. And I'm going to pick about 2 or 3 more, and then we're going to start on part 3. So, get a drink real quick. This next one is another film that I saw when I was a kid, and I really enjoyed this one. It brings back nostalgia when I watch it. $5 bit at Walmart. And that is by the name of the Little Rascals. Just a really cool one. I'm sure you guys all know this one. It's a classic. Just everyone should see this. It's in the vein of Little Giants and those Baby Geniuses. Those kind of kid films that have a heartwarming story to them. They're funny. And they have a meaning to them. And they're just like Honey We Shrunk Our Kids, Honey We Shrunk Ourselves. So anyway, it's just one of those cool, classic, family, fun films. Anyways, Little Rascals. This next one was another blind buy, and that is by the name of a Hunger. The reason I picked it up was right here, as you can see. Apparently, it was at the Fright Festival, or the Fright Fest festival, and it was a movie that Fangoria picked, and I do like the Fangoria magazine. I check their website daily. I'm not subscribed to it because I think it's a little too costly for my taste, but I do like what the website has. Anyways, that's why I bought this, was because of Fangoria, said, it was a decent film. So I thought, maybe I'll like it. It wasn't too much either. Anyways, that is the end of my part 2 for my DVD collection update for October in the year of 2012. Stay tuned for part 3.